So I'd like to tell you what TEC is and how it got started. TEC is the world's oldest and largest leadership development organization, an executive forum for CEOs, business owners, and presidents. Each month, over 15,000 CEOs, presidents, and business owners get together in their TEC groups. TEC was started in 1957 by an entrepreneur named Robert Nurse. Bob was working in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he found it challenging to get the kind of input he needed to make the decisions that would move his business forward. Bob found that he'd talk to his accountants and lawyers, and they would give him input, but often it wasn't the kind of actionable input that he really needed to make those big decisions. He talked to his employees, but he found that often they had a point of view or a perspective that really got in the way of objectivity. Nobody really saw the organization the way he did from his vantage point in the organization. His family, similarly, couldn't really give him the kind of input that he wanted. Now, I had the good fortune to meet Bob Nurse back in 1987, the 30th anniversary of TEC. And I asked Bob, I said, how did you get the idea for putting together a TEC group? And Bob said, well, it was very simple. He told me about this challenge of finding actionable input to the decisions he had to make. And he said that one of the strategies he developed for doing that was he took classes. So he'd go around to the various colleges in the Milwaukee area and take classes on various subjects. And Bob told me, he said, you know, that they were stimulating, but again, they didn't really give me the kind of actionable input that I needed to really make those decisions that were going to take my business forward. And he said, one day I was at a financial accounting course, and we took a break, and I was standing in front of the coffee machine, and I got talking to this other person, and I realized in our conversation that this other person owned a business as well, and this other person was taking the class for the same reason I was. So, I mean, it was great. I started telling him about my problem of the day. And that day before I'd come to class, my sales manager had walked in for the third straight quarter and told me that we were going to miss the forecast big time. I was really upset. But rather than getting, really triggered and emotional, I left to come to the class. And so here I was standing beside another business owner who would really understand what this issue was about, and so I started telling him. And I was going on, I was feeling good to vent a little bit. And at one point, this other person put up his hand and said, Bob, stop. Don't be a fool. Don't expect that this person's going to change. I had the same problem with a sales manager, and it took me years to deal with it. Piece of advice for you, Bob, go back to your office this afternoon, put him on a plan. If he doesn't hit it, fire him, get someone else in there to do it. The light bulb went off for Bob Nurse. That's the kind of input. That's the kind of actionable input he was looking for and couldn't find from his advisors, his employers, and his family. And that's where TEC was born. The first TEC group started with 7 members later on that year, and now, over 55 years later, 15,000 CEOs, presidents, and business owners get together every month in their TEC groups and help each other deal with the challenges of building their businesses and helping each other become better leaders.